Covalent Bonds is a superhero woman with divine water powers. She has a rival out of jealousy and rage named Photosynthesis. Her rival made a deal with another villain named Attraction. Photosynthesis and Attraction plotted to take down Covalent Bonds, but Attraction saw how pure-hearted Covalent Bonds was, so Photosynthesis was left alone to fight the superhero. The story begins after intro.
Chapter 7. Jealousy and Rage. Brittany is Ms. America. She was at home looking at the news. Brittany heard one of the news reporters say Water Woman is the new favorite woman in this city. Even more loved than Ms. America Brittany. When Brittany heard the news reporter say that, her heart stopped, and she squeezed her hand around her wine glass so tight it broke. Karina was also looking at the news that night too. She was thrilled about the name the news gave her. Karina thought long and hard about being a superhero. She concluded that she was going to risk her life to save the world. Karina did some research and found a nice swimsuit that covered her whole entire body, but her face. Karina's superhero suit looked basic. That made her look like a novice in the eyes of a criminal. Karina was putting a stop to the basic criminals like bank robbers, muggers, and people assaulting others. The news kept putting her on television, and people kept loving Water Woman. She was the best thing since gold. Karina still haven't come up with a name yet. She was content with the name the news gave her. I had enough, Brittany said, in her room by herself. No one's paying attention to me. She was sitting at her table thinking about what she can do to get the people of Ohio back on her side. Deeply concentrating with her hand up to her mouth. She was like a stone statue focused sitting there. Until she came up with an idea. The only thing I have to do is to show the people that I can help them too. After all, I was doing that before she came along. The only difference between me and her is that she has superpowers. Brittany had a bigger idea that hit her. Wait, I can use this to my advantage, she said. See that people can't relate to her because they not like her, but they can relate to me because I'm human just like them. They will love me even more. Brittany was happy. She felt relieved. She wouldn't give up until she found a way to overcome Water Woman. She sat back with ease, took a deep breath and continued with her day. 8:00 p.m. came along. She started watching the news. Brittany was talking to herself saying, okay, I'm not going to let this lady ruin my night. I'm better than she is. The news reporter Melanie said, Water Woman, if you're watching right now, please come downtown right in front of the tower. We would like to give you a key to our city. What? Brittany was furious at this point. The news kept talking about Water Woman. Brittany's Ms. America title was being destroyed by Water Woman. Brittany had enough, so she came up with a plan to put her back into the eyes of America. She tried giving to the poor. She helped at the homeless shelters, but still wasn't enough. Brittany decided to take down Water Woman. Brittany put on her coat. It was a beautiful leather brown coat that went all the way down to her knees. She was such a beauty to look at, blonde-haired, blue eyes, 5'9" feminist woman. She had a certain strength about her. She wasn't a typical woman at all. Instead of getting in her car, she started walking around until she got to the rough side of the neighborhood. Brittany met with all kinds of drug dealers and people who would commit murder for money. Brittany knew most of the people she was talking to couldn't get the job done. She even confronted the top man of a gang business. He was looked at like the mafia so much they named him after that. Brittany said, I don't think you can do the job. Mafia said, who are you talking to? Trust me, I can handle my business. You better hope I don't handle you, so watch your mouth. Brittany chuckled loud. Lightweight clowned on him. Watch who you're talking to. You telling me to watch who I'm talking to? Brittany replied, flabbergasted, with her left hand covering her mouth. Mafia replied, what? So, you got balls now? Miss America, this ain't no beauty pageant. These streets will tear you apart. Limb from limb, I don't even have to touch you. You better hope somebody like me will even pick up your scraps after real life gets through with you. Brittany said, you're a stupid idiot. I just need you to do one thing, don't fail. Mafia quickly launched at Brittany, but she stood still. Mafia threat didn't faze her. Brittany got up. I'm leaving. It was a mistake coming here in the first place. I shouldn't have thought that someone like you can handle a job like this. Mafia replied, "You lucky I don't want to catch a case, because I will have you in a body bag right now. Get out, wow, I'm being nice." Pointing at her while he nodded his head up and down, "I really should consider killing you, but I could probably just bully my way into your pockets." Brittany turns around as she was exiting the door. "You could try and surely, I will kill you." With a strong look on her face. Mafia's goons were slightly confused why she was so cocky. "I'll go get somebody that can handle the job," Brittany said. Brittany was making deals with well-known criminals, like mob bosses and murderers. Chapter 8. A series of ambushes. One day when Karina was doing her heroic duties, around 10 p.m. she was about to call it quits for that night. She came across a man that claimed he needed help. Karina asked him what the problem was, and the man said, "My wife is stuck in a burning car." Karina said, "We're at." The man said, "Follow me." So Karina followed him, and he led her into a dark alley. It was no one around, but two cats chasing a rat from underneath a dumpster. As Karina was approaching the alley, she felt unease. She realizes it was only two ways out, and on both sides from the alley was brick apartment buildings with no side lights. The man turned around and pulled his gun out at Karina. She asked, "Why are you trying to kill me?" The man said, "You have a bounty on your head. Water woman, you are worth a lot of money dead." Karina was stuck in a position. She didn't want to cause physical harm. She took a breath like she always does in dangerous moments. She was a very wise woman, always thought before she attacked. She tried to scope out the best outcome of the situation. Karina tries to talk to the man, telling him to put down the gun. "Trust me, you don't want to hurt anyone. I would hate to see you go down for life." The gunman was fighting her words. "No, no." The gunman replied, "I'm going to kill you and get the bounty." "Yeah," nodding his head. "No skin off my back at all, and one less goody two shoes I must worry about." Karina's hands were up in the air, trying not to escalate the situation at hand. She was thinking hard about how she was going to stop this man. Not from hurting her, but from hurting himself. The gunman shot his gun at Water Woman. She quickly dodged the bullet. Karina apologizes to the gunman for using physical force on him. As she was apologizing, a water sprout was developing in between both of her hands as she was moving them back and forth. When the gunman realized it was too late, Karina extended her arms outwards and shot him with a water blast that hit him in the chest like a bullet. His arms dropped, his chest caved in, and he collapsed on the ground. Karina picked him up with all her might and dragged him back to the police station. Water Woman told him that someone put a hit out on her head. The cops said, "Who would want you dead?" Karina said, "I stopped a lot of crimes, so I don't know who would want me dead." The cop told Water Woman that they would handle it, and if they got any information on the case, "We will let you know." Karina said, "Okay," and took off. The next day the news had put Water Woman on television talking about the hit on her. Everybody was feeling for Water Woman. Brittany's plan backfired on her. The people really loved Water Woman even more now. Brittany was broken because she was used to all the attention from America. Brittany needed some attention from her butler. His name is Ryan. He said to Brittany, "Why you won't take care of Water Woman yourself?" Brittany said, "If I killed Water Woman everybody would hate me." Then Ryan said, "Use a supervillain suit and a name." Brittany said, "That was a good idea. Also I would make up a supervillain name, and when I'm done killing Water Woman, I will come along as Miss America and rat myself out. I'll make up some kind of fake name and give it to the press so they could put it on live television. I'm the one who stops the bad guy after revealing her name. I must come up with a fake name, of course." Then after that she thought hard while saying, "It's a big gap in my story." Another idea hit her. "After I make up a fake name and say that it was the bad guy, I have the bad guy create a suicide note and kill herself off before they find out who she was. Wait, nope, that won't work, because then they would be wondering where's the body at." She thought even more. "No, I will have her write a note saying that she was scared, and she gave up her supervillain ways, because she didn't want to be prosecuted for life, and then I'll be looked at as the hero, because I'm the one who stopped the bad guy by ratting her name out. Of course, I'm going to be playing both parts. The bad guy and the girl that's ratting her out." People will be sad about Water Woman, but at the end, I will have all the fame again, and they will love me for being a hero too. But the only difference with me is that I'm going to survive." So she did a little thinking with her butler Ryan, and they came up with the name photosynthesis because of her powers she was hiding from the public the whole time. Brittany has the power to manipulate and create oxygen, air, sunlight, solar energy, fire, plant life and wind. Her powers are constantly evolving. She hadn't used her powers in a long time. She had to sit in the sunlight to absorb the solar energy into her body. Ryan saw that Brittany's skin was becoming immaculate again, like she used to be. Ryan didn't know why Brittany always stayed beautiful. Brittany told Ryan, "When I don't have enough sunlight, my skin gets terrible. That's why I never let you, or anybody see me at night." Ryan said, "Okay, I still think you are the most beautiful woman in the world." Brittany said, "Thanks, you are always good to me, and if I could get the rest of the world to think that too, I would be the happiest woman in the world." Ryan went to secretly work on something for Brittany. Chapter 9. The Crazy Attraction. The next day the government had a problem. The government couldn't get their soldiers out of the war. They were destined to lose. The government was trying to figure out what to do. Nobody had any ideas, but one man. His name is Nathan. He was a scientist that also built amusement rides for kids, such as the gravitation ride, he called Attraction. Nathan asked the government can he use their drone for an idea. The government said, "What are you planning to do with a drone?" Nathan said, "Just trust me." Jimmy rigged the drone up with the technology he used for the gravitation rides. The government flew the drone over across seas and bombed the war. They looked at Nathan, and Nathan said, "Wait for it." Boom, there it is. Next thing you know, everybody was stuck in place. Nathan got on the cons and said to the soldiers, "You guys should have wristbands that the drone release. The wristbands should be somewhere around you." The soldier replied to Nathan that they see the wristbands, but they can't move. Nathan said, "That's okay, just try to reach the wristbands." The soldiers said, "We got it, sir." Nathan said, "Put the wristbands on. It will help you move so you can get away safely." The government started cheering and thanking Nathan for his help. The soldiers left the war safely, and left the overseas people still stuck to the ground. Until the gravitation bomb wore off. Nathan said, "What we do now?" Someone from the government said, "Let's party. Party over here everyone. Break out the champagne, get the little slider sandwiches and put on some music." Later, when everyone was celebrating, the general asked Nathan, "How did you build that machine?" Nathan replied, "Well, I was hoping to show you guys some of the devices I was working on to get you guys to donate money to my projects, so I can build the kids better rides. That's why I had my equipment with me." "Lucky her," the general replied. "Nothing is luck, everything happens for a reason. You were supposed to bring that stuff with you. Go on, son. Go ahead and finish partying. You deserve it. Without you, our soldiers would have been dead. We would have been sending a lot of letters home to be loved ones without you." Nathan went home after the party settled down. He got home that night, and wished his wife and 2 daughters good night. The next day Nathan woke up to his wife and kids, and said good morning to them. They replied, "Good morning," too. So Nathan went to work on a new version of an amusement ride. A few hours later he got a call from a high-ranking man in the government. The man told Nathan that he wanted that technology he used to save the soldiers at war. Nathan said, "No, I only build technology for kids." The man said, "That's too bad. By the way, how are your wife and kids? How less fortunate it is for you. I'll send my condolences to you." Before the man quickly hung up, Nathan said, "You wait, don't hang up the phone on me. You leave my wife and kids out of this." Nathan rushed home to his wife and kids, but they were nowhere to be found. Nathan was panicking and pacing around the house until he found a note stating that his wife and kids went to the store. Nathan felt relieved and called his wife. She answered the phone and said, "Hello honey, are you alright? Why are you home from work so early? I just got done going grocery shopping. We are at a stoplight right now, and I will see you when we get home." Nathan said, "Alright honey, I will see you when you get here." As soon as Nathan said that, the light turned green, and his wife drove off, and another car hit him from the side, flipping the car over and killing Nathan's family instantly. The only thing you heard was Nathan saying no, in a crying voice. Chapter 10. The power plant accident. Nathan quickly got in his car and drove off, looking around the area, and at every grocery store in his radius. He finally came up on an accident scene. He knew it was his family, praying that they were at least alive. He stopped his car, took a deep breath and relaxed his body, hoping for the best. He got out the car and started to approach the crowd where everybody was staring. As he was walking towards the front of the crime scene, he overheard a group of people on the phone saying that 3 people had died just now. He started to tear up, and his lips started to quiver. He couldn't hold his feelings in any longer. It was like a knife cutting at his throat, trying hard to hold it in. As he was walking towards the front, he immediately starts heaving. The people around him knew that was his family just by the way he acted. The cops tried to stop him from going further. They didn't want him to see the accident. Everyone knew that was his family. The cops tried to protect him from the harsh reality of the crime scene, but Nathan kept forcing his way through, yelling, "Let me go, I want to see my family." The cops didn't arrest him because they knew this was no accident. Nathan was crying and fighting his way through the crowd in the police. One cop said, "Just let him through." Nathan broke down on his knees at the sight of the crime scene, saying, "Where are they? Who would do this to them?" The police said, "We don't know who took the bodies. We just saw a car ride off. We sent a few of our cops after them, but they got away. They were just too fast for us." Nathan said, "No, I don't believe that." The cop whispered to Nathan, he said, "The truth is we had to let them go. They were higher ranked than us. You really mess with the wrong people. Whoever they were powerful. I'm sorry for your loss." Melanie showed up at the crime scene with Zach. They were asking the cops for their interview, so the chief of police stated that Nathan was at the crash site. The cops had the area surrounded. Nathan said, "Let me through, that's my wife and kids." The cops said, "Their bodies weren't here." Nathan said, "What do you mean?" The cops said, "We saw the people in the car that hit them get out and take the dead bodies with them. We tried to catch them, but they were too fast." Nathan broke down on his knees and started crying. Melanie turned around and looked at Nathan with a concerned tone and said, "Is that true?" Nathan didn't say a word, he just knelt there on his knees, gone. Melanie said, "All right, let's go. I guess we have the full story. Let's go tell Water Woman about this event." Chapter 11. The power within. Days and days went past. The only thing Nathan could think about was his wife and kids. Nathan bought a gun and plotted an attack on the man that was a high-ranked government officer. Nathan knew who he was, because he heard his voice on the phone and remember that man from the party. Nathan ended up getting enough courage to go face the man who had his wife and kids killed. Nathan found the man in a public bathroom at the carnival. The man was there with his family. He had 2 boys and his wife. When Nathan met him in the bathroom, Nathan made sure he was alone and pulled out a gun. The high-ranking officer for the government said, "You don't have enough balls to shoot me." He knew what kind of person Nathan was. He was confident that Nathan wouldn't shoot. The high-ranking officer saw the look of worry on his face. Nathan broke down and started crying again. The man said, "Stay out my way, you piece of garbage, or I will kill you next." The man walked away and left Nathan in the bathroom crying alone. Nathan eventually got up and walked home to think about killing himself. He just wanted the pain to end. Nathan thought of a second plan, because he knew he wasn't strong enough to kill someone in cold blood. He created and started taking super steroids to make his mind complex and crazy to the point that he could lash out and kill anyone he wishes. As soon as Nathan got the nerve to kill the high-ranking officer for the government, the man went into hiding. The worst part of it all, nobody knew this man's name because he was so high in the government. They never released his name. Nathan ended up losing the man. Nathan couldn't find him, so he went outside for a quick breather. He didn't realize at the time the dangerous rain was coming. He was already seeing dark. His mind was gone, and he wasn't seeing anything around him. The rain came down while he was so frustrated and tearing everything up in sight. That's when the black elixir cloud rained down on Nathan, giving him the power of the technology he was so familiar with. The gravitation gave Nathan superstring powers, and he gained the ability to manipulate gravity, also making him super strong and invulnerable. The power he was so familiar with was called superstring. Chapter 12. The havoc attraction caused. Nathan went after all the low-ranking officers for the government. Nathan first started his attack with a man from the government security. He met the man in the alley, where he worked as a bouncer as a secondary job. Nathan waited until the man was by himself. When he approached the man at his job, music was loud, so you couldn't hear anything. "Are you?" Nathan said. The man replied, "Who are you?" Nathan said, "You are of some importance, because if you weren't you wouldn't have been at the government party." The guy said, "I don't know anything. I'm just a small fry." Nathan said, "I understand. I was just a small fry too." Nathan used his powers, and made the guy float up into the air about 40 feet and released him, letting him drop to his death. Right before the guy got released, he was pleading to Nathan saying, "Please don't kill me. Let me go," crying away. So Nathan let him go, and the guy started screaming to his death. A cop heard the commotion in the dark and narrow alley, so he went to go check on the situation. He found Nathan standing over a man's dead body. Nathan was deciding if he wanted to use his powers on the cop. He decided not to crush him. The cop saw the hesitation in Nathan's eyes, so he decided to take a chance and shoot Nathan. The cop shot Nathan in the arm, but he was invulnerable. The bullet bounced off Nathan. When the cop witnessed what just happened, he ran for his life. He went to his police station and told his boss about what just took place. Later that day the news got a hold of that information, and asked Waterwoman to help take this madman off the street. The news showed a picture of Nathan. The cop had a body camera on, but the picture wasn't clear, but identifiable. It was Nathan. Brittany, Nathan, and Karina were looking at the news that night. Nathan realized he needed a suit to hide his identity so no one would recognize him, but it was already too late. The news put his face out there for everyone to see. They had very little information about Nathan, and why he was killing everyone. The news reporter said, "Please Waterwoman, take this madman off the street before it's too late," from your true fan Melanie. Brittany was listening to the TV and found her next deal. Karina got up off the couch and put on her superhero suit to go find Nathan. Nathan finally made himself a very advanced suit. He called himself Attraction. He went out to find the man that killed his family, so Attraction foresighted an idea. He used the news reporter Melanie to get his point across. This tall 6'2" muscular male with a blue and black advanced astronaut suit came to the middle of downtown, and just stood there. Melanie got wind of a menacing man downtown. When Melanie arrived with the camera, he said, "This is all your fault. Come out from hiding if you really care about the country you claim to fight for. Be a hero, let's see you come out from hiding, you coward." Attraction used his powers to lift everybody up in the air slowly, one by one, lifting everything including buses and cars. Everything down to the rocks and pebbles. One man in the air was calling his wife to inform her how much he loves her, and that he wasn't going to make it home for dinner. His wife said, "Why?" The husband said, "Honey, turn on the news." His wife said, "Oh my God," and immediately started crying, saying, "Please don't leave me, Gerald." Waterwoman eventually came to the rescue. Everyone was screaming, "Please save us, Waterwoman." The news had the cameras pointed on Waterwoman and Attraction. Karina asked Nathan, "Why are you doing this?" Nathan said, "I'm doing this for my family." Karina replied, "What do you mean?" Nathan answered, "The government killed my family and the man that's behind it went into hiding." Karina said, "I will help you find him, but please just put everybody down safely." Attraction told her, "That's funny how you jumped to save these people, but where were you when my family needed you the most? You let them die, so your word means nothing to me now." Karina replied, "I'm sorry, I didn't know, but I promise I will help you find them." Attraction told her, "Just to let you know, they killed my family, and took their bodies away, so I couldn't give them a proper burial." Karina started to cry, and Attraction saw that, so he slowly released everyone. One by one until everybody was safe. Karina thanks Nathan, and before he could ask for her help, The cops shot Nathan with a taser gun that was able to go through his suit, shocking him until he fell to the ground. Karina was telling the cops to hold on. She needed to speak to Attraction. Everyone was talking, trying to get her attention, making it impossible to reach him. Stay tuned for the next part of Covalent Bonds, the first hero act, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Stanley Barnard McShann Jr. is the creator and owner of Emagine Comics Universe, and I'm the story reader. My name is Lydia from Talkir. Me and Stanley thank you for watching Covalent Bonds. Thank you for listening to my Black Book saga, and more from this collection of books to come. I hope you enjoyed.